Yeah, hey guys, we're gonna start up real quick today. I wanted to talk about the origin of government very quickly and then get into some shutdown stuff, some current events. I've got a video that I kind of think is funny. You guys may or may not. It's really hit or miss. But I'll talk more about that. And then I'm gonna see if anybody has some plans to do future activism projects. So let's see, the social contract. Everybody's familiar with that, right? The idea that the people and the government have this imaginary sort of social contract that everyone agrees to, and that's what gives the government permission to do what it does. And so that sounds good, and a lot of people think that's how government started, that everyone kind of came together and said, yeah, let's make this special entity that can take our money and tell us what to do. But that's not really what happened. What is more of what happened is sort of like this picture. So everybody's familiar with this basic thing like check yes, check no. The way that government really started is more like if Russ gave this note to a girl and the girl either threw it away or she checked no and gave it back, and Russ decided to just take her phone anyways and look up her number and then get her number that way. That's more of the reality of how government started. And actually this picture is real. We did this as a prank to my friend Russ once. Me and Andreas, we got his little brother who's like 5 years old to write out this note, and we slipped it in this really hot girl's purse one day when Russ wasn't around and when she wasn't around. And so a few days later, Russ left the room and we were like, hey, did you get this note from Russ? She was like, yeah, was he being serious? And we were like, yeah, he's really thinks that you're gonna say yes, so you should probably tell him about it. And you know, a couple of days later, he found out and we were like, yeah, it was us. But it was funny because that's obviously not a high schooler's handwriting or intellect. And she believed it for like 3 days. She thought that was really Russ. So yeah, the real origin of government, this guy, Franz Oppenheimer, he wrote this book, and that's it in German and English. But, I mean, look at that guy. He seems like Franz Oppenheimer. That's just a credible source. You can tell by that name that he's probably a pretty smart guy. And he wrote this book that put forth this theory about how the government really started. And it wasn't this voluntaristic theory. It was more of a coercive theory. And so initially, say there's a village of like a few of you guys, and you're in this village and there's no government, there's no need for government. The rules are all kind of like understood and followed. And so let's see, I'll be the bandit because I'm kind of a mean guy sometimes. And so I come in every now and then with a gang of people and we sweep through and we burn stuff down and we steal stuff and we take what we want and then we leave. And you know, we kind of get in a fight along the way and we leave and then we have to come back later on and do it again. But see, so I'm leading these bandits. I like to think I'm kind of smart. So one day I get this genius idea that I'm like, instead of running through and fighting, you know, I'm down to like 1 eye and 6 fingers now. Instead of keeping on trying to fight these people, let's just say if you pay us a penalty, we'll leave you alone. We won't burn anything down. So the villagers are obviously like, okay, good deal. We'd rather not get killed and burned down, you know? And so that's the origin, the very basic origin of government. Eventually, I have this other brilliant idea to move in, and we just start living in the village, and they pay us there. Eventually, there's disputes between the people, and we become the arbitrators. And then eventually, other bandits are trying to attack, and we fight them off. So over time, it goes through there's different phases to it, different steps. Over time, the villagers start to see the initial bandits as good guys, and that's the government. And that's how the government forms. So it's not out of this voluntary wisdom of people. It's out of plunder and force and theft. That's how the government is born. And I think it's really important to understand that because the government's only tool is force. You know, most of the things the government does is not voluntary. It's at, you know, a gun and a badge. You have to do this or else.
All I do is dream of you.